Playing the Radical Latino Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands in the air for New York's very own.
Radical Latino is taking you to another level.
Yeah, welcome back, my people. Welcome back to another episode of the Radical Latino. It's your boy, the Radical Latino. What is poppin', my people? My God. So my week has been, pretty hectic, cause I'm working on this mini documentary. Finally made it official. It's gonna be 4 parts. I haven't came up with a title yet. I haven't came up with anything for the script. One thing I found out, Jesus fucking Christ. One thing I did find out, that this just making something a production value is fucking difficult. My God. Shout out to all the people that be making those, nature DVDs and nature shows and shit. I'm doing this shit for free, I'm spending some money here and there, but this shit's gonna be free for y'all. I'm gonna just put it up on YouTube for free. 4 parts. I'm not gonna put all of them out. I'm gonna work really hard on the first part, put it out, maybe wait a week, see how it does, do a second part and all that other stuff. But I'm already, having everything done. I'm downloading a bunch of stock footage, a bunch of footage that I've even taken when I went out there and all that, and I got a bunch of other things, interviews. I already got some interviews already locked down, so I'm just waiting for a confirmation. 2 people already locked down this weekend. I'm gonna do some FaceTime interviews and stuff and record that, and some really good people, some really very smart people on this topic. A couple of people were hitting me up on Instagram, and they were like, yo, make sure you talk about this and this and this. Some of the stuff that I didn't even know, because I'm doing my deep research now, just learning every day, just reading up on stuff. I even bought a book on these type of things, so I'm doing my thing, but somebody on Instagram was like, yo, you make sure you mention this and this and this, and I looked it up. I'm like, holy shit, they're absolutely right. So me and this person were going back and forth, and she knows what she's talking about. So I said, yo, listen, are you in touch with some people, some professors? And she's like, yeah, I work at a school, and all this other crazy shit. And I'm like, yo, would you be cool to come on? So I already got, and she said, yeah, so I already got 1 person down, I got somebody else down. So I already got 2 people locked down. I'm waiting on more, So this is going to be a really good, really good information for those people who don't know. And for those who don't know what I'm working on, I'm actually working on a Haitian and Dominican documentary on the relationship between Dominican and Haitians, because as half Dominican, right, I never understood the whole big beef between the Haitians. I never understood that. I thought it was some racist shit and all that, but then again, I was always thinking, I'm like, how can it be racist if these 2 people are black? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got some light skinned Dominicans who are not the exception, you know what I'm saying? But still, the majority of people who are oppressing the Haitians are black themselves. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, what what's going on? What's up? But I'm getting some really good information. Haven't came out with a title yet. If I do, I'm probably gonna promote it on Twitter and Instagram first before I even announce it or whatever the case is. I have a working title, but I haven't really set on it yet. You feel what I'm saying? I haven't really I really haven't set on it yet. I'll probably set on something later on, but everything else is coming along well. Something I didn't even know I had to do. They were like, yo, you should make a little production company or whatever the case is, or just have like a production name. And so I already done that. I already rendered whatever I need to render. So those things that I didn't even know I had to do, I was doing. Also, I already got my IMDb profile already set up for this type of thing. I just need a video cover, for it, and I'll be set to go. I haven't, again, that's like private now. I haven't even done, but I got some people, on the scenes, behind the scenes, actually helping me out with some of the stuff that, they're like, hey, listen, I like the message that you do. Shout out to you. Yeah, I'm gonna help you out. You know what I'm saying? But if anybody out there, anybody that's listening, who likes, my whole message, who fuck with me and all that, listen, if you guys could either send in on my Instagram and Twitter, just DM me, guys. Just DM me. If you guys could send in some photos or some, reenactment scenes of, the Haitians and Dominicans or whatever, little art photos or whatever the case is. Or if you guys know anybody that, is well versed and well knowledgeable on these two nations of their history, let me know. Contact me. Contact them to contact me or whatever the case is. Let me know. And, I'll give you a shout out and all that. You know what I'm saying? Just let me know if they're down, because I need people. You know what I'm saying? I need a lot of people, even though my my whole platform is small, but it is growing. I still need people. You know what I'm saying? So I just, I hope you guys could like help me out. You know what I'm saying? So now moving on to, so that was it. So moving on to my first topic. 6ix9ine. My God, 6ix9ine, Tekashi 6ix9ine. Your boy is snitching out here, man. Your boy is out here telling. He's like, I'm telling on you. I'm telling on you. Oh, I'm definitely telling on you. You know what it reminds me of? Like, it reminds me of, you guys seen New Jack City? This is bigger than Nino Brown. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it reminds me of, that court scene. Yo, he is telling out here, and there's a lot of things that came out on those, in that testimony. A lot of things came out that I didn't even know. Mind you, Tekashi 6ix9ine, he folded the first day he got arrested. When he got arrested, my man was talking. He was already telling and shit. You know what I'm saying? He was already just telling the cops things that they didn't even wanted to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know my baby mom, she's diabetic, right? And they're like, what? I got cheat codes from GTA cheat codes from my little brother. You know that? Like, saying shit that you don't need to, Poppy from the store gives me whatever I want on credit. You know what I'm saying? Like, little stupid, like, yo, chill out, bro. Like, you telling them everything, relax. James St. Patrick is ghost. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yo, chill out. But he started telling the first day he got locked up. And then it comes out that the first time he got introduced to everybody from 9 Trey was when he was shooting the Gumbo video. In the Gumbo video, he bought a bunch of dudes. He said it himself. He bought a bunch of dudes, bunch of red flags. Like he had like a good 36 red flags, just different sizes. And then everybody, and he was like, listen, I just need some gang members in this video, whatever the case is. And the thing is, in that video, you kind of, so they had fun. The shit was fun. You could tell they had a lot of fun shooting it. But the thing is, you could tell that he was like, all right, you don't really belong here. You know what I'm saying? No lie. The shit was hard. You know what I'm saying? Got the iffy with the gates and stiffy the shit was hard. But you visually, it's like, all right, bro, you kind of stand out. You know what I'm saying? You kind of stand out. But the shit was hard, and after that, this is all through. This is what we're learning through the case. After that, then we find out that he started blowing up, and that's when he went back to the people he was, he introduced himself to or whatever that helped him out, and said, yo, listen, I'm blowing up, and I want you guys, I want to shoot another one, obviously, and I'm gonna adopt this persona. So we find out that 6ix9ine was never part of 9 Trey. If you guys actually hear and go, somebody was live tweeting the shit. Somebody from the court was live tweeting the whole thing, like in rapid succession. I'm like, god damn. But in those 3 days that he was testifying, and he breaks down everything, he was really never part of 9 Trey. It was an exchange, because they saw that this kid was actually, because of their image, he was getting, extremely popular, extremely fast. So they were like, yo, we could use this shit. You know what I'm saying? We could actually use this shit. And they exchanged. They gave him his career through some of their connections, and he was funding them with money. You know what I'm saying? So he was never really part of it. And this is my thing. If he was never part of it, right? If he was just a bank for the gang, if he was the bank, and mind you, this is nothing new. This right here, it's nothing new. Being mob connected, being gang affiliated for an artist in the music community, in the music industry, is nothing new. This has always happened. Elvis was mob connected. Frank Sinatra was mob connected. These were big names with big money, who had protection. And in exchange to have that protection, they would, here's, 30, 50,000 or whatever the case is. Here you go. And you give me a career, you give me an image, you protect me and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But this is the difference. We all saw where Tekashi was going. We all saw what was happening, what he was doing. My man was ordering hits on people. My dude was going to other people's block talking about suck my dick. My man was going into other states, not checking in and trolling, and then getting into fights on the airport. My dude was going overseas, choking dudes out and all that other crazy shit. Making Instagram posts, calling other people stupid and all this other bullshit. My man was out at Brooklyn, one of the highly secured areas, like the Barclays Center, shooting up the place. Like, come on, man. He took it way too far. And let's keep it real. The feds were not investigating 9 Trey when Tekashi joined in. This shit was a long operation between 2003 and now. That's insane. When I found out that 9 Trey was being investigated from 2003 all the way towards now, I'm like, wait a minute. What the fuck? So this has been a long operation. Are you serious? Wow. So now, with that being said, Tekashi, he was wilding. You know what I'm saying? He was actually doing a lot of crazy shit. He was wilding out here. So that's why I'm like, all right, there's going to be some exceptions to the rule. You know what I'm saying? He was taking that protection as advantage. You know what I'm saying? And then the feds had to swoop in, you know what I'm saying? And obviously they targeted him. Why? Because he's the bank of the gang. And they obviously said, yo, we're gonna protect you. You got nothing to do with this shit. You were just literally here for a year. You got nothing. But the thing is, if he was never part of the gang, why did the fucking gang introduce him to all these other people where he started just fucking naming names? You know what I'm saying? If I am a criminal organization, or if I'm part of a leader of a criminal organization, and some little widow with rainbow hair and tattoos in his face wants me and my organization, my criminal organization, to help him get a career and he will get me money, the last thing I'm gonna do is present him to the Godfather, and name down every single thing that we are into and all this other. No, I keep everything quiet. You are on a need to know basis. You don't need to know all this other extra shit. There's no need for none of that. You feel what I'm saying? There's no need for none of that. You don't need to know all this extra shit. You don't need to know who's who and what's what, how we spend the money and what's the history of this and all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? All you need to know is throw up the sign, here you go, and that's it. That's it. That's all you need to know. I'm your manager. This is what we're gonna do, and that's about it. You know what I'm saying? My man knew the Godfather, which was Mel Matrix. That's his other name, by the way. Mel Murder? Yeah, guess what? His rap name is Mel Matrix. And I was like, wait a minute. That name sounds so familiar. I did some research. That's the reason why Jim Jones is even in this whole conversation, because Mel Matrix was part of Burr Gang. If you guys actually look and type in Mel Matrix, he has a bunch of songs with Dipset. And then you start hearing Dipset actually yelling out 9 Trey. And you're like, oh, this shit really goes, you know, deep, 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 deep. You feel what I'm saying? And, well, you know, since Tekashi snitched, Mel Matrix, you know, he got like 20-something years or whatever the case is. Shotty got 15. But the thing is, he was cooperating, right? Now, this is the thing. Since Tekashi was never part of the gang, right? Since Tekashi was never part of the gang, is it really still considered snitching? I'm raising that question. I'm just saying. He was never part of the gang. Is it still considered snitching? Let's look at the facts. He was never initiated. He never really did any work. He never really put in work to get part of the gang. He just wanted them for a career and he funds them. That's it. So he's not part of it. So is it really snitching? You feel what I'm saying? When you're part of an organization, you're part of a gang, you already know, even if you don't know directly, you know it indirectly, that you abide by a certain codes. You abide by certain codes. You know what I'm saying? You abide by a certain codes that you're not gonna talk, and you gotta do a couple of things that's not gonna be, you know, kind of friendly. You know what I'm saying? So, is it really snitching? That's the question. I'm just saying, that's the fucking question that I'm raising. I don't see this shit as snitching. I see this as an organization not playing smart, you know, being too stupid and too money hungry to get all this money, and they were abusing this kid. Let's call it what it is. They were abusing this kid. Why am I saying that they were abusing this kid? Listen to some, if you guys go back, some of his Instagram posts. Yo, I'm firing everybody. I'm not part of 9 Trey. Fuck them. I fired everybody. Anybody that's booking through or whatever, you gotta go through me and all this other shit. This was the downward spiral that was happening. He even went on Angie Martinez. You know what I'm saying? Talking about he fired everybody and all this other crazy shit. So yeah, they were abusing this kid. He woke up and said, nah, get the fuck out of here. I don't care about none of this shit. Get out of here. I'm not gonna let y'all abuse me no more, you know? This is deep. This is deep. The thing is that they wasn't playing as smart. they wasn't playing it smart. And like I said, this is not something new. This is not something new, especially in the rap game. This is not something new. Everybody know who Jay Prince is, right? Jay Prince. This is nothing new. Jay Prince is an OG. You know, he is a former gang member or whatever the case, but he's in the streets and he's still very street connected. You know what I'm saying? Guess who funds him and whatever he does? I don't even know. Guess who funds him? Drake. Drake funds him. That's why Drake does whatever he does and he is not touchable. That's why it is what it is. When that little small beef happened between him and Pusha T, guess who started coming up in the forefront and stopped everything? Jay Prince. Jay Prince is extremely connected. But guess what? He does it smart. Drake still lives his lifestyle, and Jay Prince gets a certain percentage. He doesn't abuse the bank. He doesn't abuse the bank. Nine Trey was abusing the bank. You feel what I'm saying? They were abusing the bank. That's the reason why when he started firing people left and right, one of the main people, one of his security or enforcers or whatever, Harv, who was actually the only one that didn't take a plea deal, him and the other dude, his friend or whatever, and that's the reason why the 3-day, testifying happened, because of the whole kidnapping situation. That's basically what it is. He was a victim. He got kidnapped, and those two people that they caught who kidnapped him didn't get the plea deal, and they said, fuck it, we're gonna fight it. Okay, and that's the reason why it's happening. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. This is, I'm not gonna just start labeling people for no goddamn reason. Let's keep it real. So that's the reason why Tekashi was in court. He didn't go to court and snitch on Shotty. He didn't go and snitch on Mel Matrix and all these other people. No. He just went in there and went to trial because the two people that kidnapped him said, nah, we didn't do none of that shit. Oh, word? There's actually video footage of the car. And you guys went in there and kidnapped him. We got all your phones tapped. This was a long ongoing investigation. Yeah, you guys really think they didn't do none of this? Yeah, they had this dude's phone tapped, man. They have video surveillance of the ass. You know what I'm saying? So, miss me with all that other shit. Well, he snitched. To me, he wasn't snitching. He didn't snitch because he wasn't part of the gang. You know what I'm saying? He was a victim, if anything. Let's keep it real. He was a victim, if anything. Some exceptions here to the rule, but the whole point is it really snitching when your own gang comes and turns around and stab you in the back? They kidnapped him, took him out the car because they wasn't getting paid anymore, and took the jewelry and all this other shit. Long story short, after my man got out the fucking the van and ran to the to another car, got into a hospital and all that other shit, Shotty was like, what, he did this? Oh man, that's fucked up, da 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 da, and all this other shit. And I don't know if Shotty knew anything, but the whole point is, after that incident, he started firing people. He was like, nah, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? The person that kidnapped him was extremely connected to Shotty, extremely well connected to Shotty. So come on, is it really snitching? Come on, people, is it really snitching? And you see headlines like, oh man, he's snitching on Cardi B and Jim Jones. No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Cardi B was mentioned by the prosecutor. Is she blood? And this is something that he shouldn't even. What he should have said was she admitted it, but he said, yeah, he's not snitching on her. They knew this already. Cardi B admitted this, so he's not snitching on her. This is something it's already known. She even admitted this shit on records. You feel what I'm saying? There was one record out before she became like you know, super hot or whatever. Everybody's wearing red, and she, you know, she's rapping that real shit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, come on, like, she admitted this shit already. You know, and Jim Jones came up because part of the wiretap that leaked out months before, talking about we're gonna super violate him, is Mel Matrix on the phone with Jim Jones, just talking about the issue. You know what I'm saying? Just talk about the thing that's happening, and you know what was going on. We should go to TMZ, and all this other bullshit. And Jim Jones is giving him advice and all that. That's the only reason why Jim Jones was mentioned. But if you guys haven't heard that clip, here, I'm gonna play a little bit part of it.
You got his picture next to this shit. Everything he say, you got a split screen with shotty picture next to this shit. I said, this shit crazy, son. But he's doing that to make T9 think he don't got no relationship with boy. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to separate the show.
That's cool, but now you gotta get violated.
Yeah, super violated. Super duper. So ain't too much he can really do unless he gonna go run around with 100 armed securities all day. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get shot at pin.
He ain't getting enough money for that.
That's a fact. And he just canceled all his shows.
He ain't a gang member no more.
Nah, he ain't nothing.
That's what Shotty need to make sure he do.
Nah,
Tell that nigga that he's not a gang member no more. He kicked out the whip. He was never a gang member. Then Shotty need to expose him. Like,
nah, never to do. They got a TMZ. TMZ want to talk to niggas on Monday. So Shotty like, you want me? Crippy. I think he said,
you don't need to be on no TMZ. Let Shotty be on TMZ.
There you go. He was never part of the gang. He was never a gang member and all that. You need to expose him and all that. You guys heard it. That's what it is. I'm not making this shit up. You feel what I'm saying? Like exactly what it. That's a wiretap conversation that was played in the courtroom and that was released. So is it really snitching if it was never part of the gang? Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. So he's testifying against people that kidnapped him. You know, he's the victim here. Let's keep it real. He's the victim. So he's testifying against them, and you know, obviously they're gonna be found guilty or whatever. It was three days of testimony or whatever the case is. It's kind of funny because they asked him, you know who Jim Jones is? He's like, yeah, it's like he's a retired rapper or whatever. You know, he's throwing little shots in here and there. But yeah, that's what it is. So that's what happened. But I got an exclusive clip that nobody ever heard in the courtroom. Nobody ever. This is exclusive. Somebody sent it to me. All right. This is exclusive, super duper exclusive. You know what I'm saying? This is an exclusive clip in the courtroom of Tekashi 6ix9ine, you know, snitching on folks and all that. You ain't gonna hear this nowhere else, all right? Somebody sent it to me, and they wanted me to bring it out. So, you know, here's the whole thing.
I'm telling on you. I'm telling on you. I'm telling on you. I'm especially telling on you, nigga. Him right there in the beige vest. That nigga sell all the drugs. All the drugs. And that man right there, Gray, he ain't shit. Yeah, that nigga be beating up on his baby mom. But you ain't here for me.
You's a real faggot. You keep quiet now, settle down.
Yeah, and that nigga right there, yeah, you. With the black fitted? Yeah, that nigga shot me about 2 years ago. I know he did it. I saw you. And that dude right there, all I gotta say about him is murder. All y'all niggas going down, man. I'm telling on all y'all.
Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. That shit was so fucking funny. I was dying. Oh my god! If anybody don't know where that's from, that was when 50 and Cameron were beefing, and he just started doing little skits and shit. That shit was hilarious. But moving on to our main topic, which is, are Latin people black? Are Latin people black? You know, this is the main topic that a lot of people were, are always, telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about. Latin people are not black, all this other shit. And the reason why it came up and it's up for discussion now is because Fat Joe made some comments during a Hot 97 interview. He's talking about his new release of Yes, his music video and all that. His music, with Cardi B and all them. And he used a sample, very, very old sample. It's a Cuban sample. And the sample is about basically Santeria. It's just it's a cry of Santeria and stuff like that. And it's a very known Cuban thing, And this, if you guys hear the sample, you guys will understand what I'm talking about. The song is called Yes by Fat Joe and Cardi B. I forgot the other guy's name. But it's a word in that sample that is contributed to the Afro-Cuban Santeria religion, And that word is actually translated into Yoruba, and it's a West African language. The population of Cuba is currently, it's mixed, as we all know. And the thing is that Santeria is the most important religion in African origin, brought to you by African slaves to Cuba and Latin America. Basically the Caribbean. The slaves managed to keep their religious beliefs alive because they resisted the slave masters. And, as we all know, Christianity came and said, Santeria and voodoo. But basically, Santeria is just a language. It's just a language translation, the Spanish translation to voodoo. That's all it is. So, as we know, Christianity came and said that everything that you're taught, everything about Santeria and all this other stuff is bad because God said so. So, we all know that that's a way to control the people. You know what I'm saying? So, Fat Joe came out with a song and they were, interviewing him and stuff like that. And then he made a comment. And I'm going to play the clip right now.
I'm keeping it real. So we had to pay tribute to that in the video.
But that's the thing that's so inherently what's part of what makes hip hop great, though, is taking something and then giving it a new meaning with what you do. Like that's,
well, it's what he's speaking to though is African ancestral heritage.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like
right.
that
That's
that
the
music and
that's
that
the
song
African,
is the connection
all the music
of
is
Africa.
African.
Right.
All the music is African. Brazilian music.
All of it.
Dominican music. Spanish drums. All the music is African music. So, you getting on the Afro beat now. I've been in Africa. They've been doing that. Know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? It ain't new. All the music is African. Know what I'm saying? But you right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even in Puerto Rico, when you go to Caribbean, like let's speak about Latinos not being black. Latinos are black. Mm-hmm. In Cuba at one time, there was 8 million Cubans. 5 million, unfortunately, were slaves. 3 million were actual Cubans. And they integrated and had babies. Same thing with Puerto Rico. When you go to Loíza, and when you talk about Santeria, that came from the motherland, Africa. Sometimes Latinos might even identify themselves with African and black culture more than black people. Mm-hmm. This ain't no crazy thing. Fat Joe ain't on crack. He know what he talking about. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm telling you the truth.
Well, the heritage also, too, because, mainland American slavery is different than Caribbean plantation slavery because culture was able to stay intact. When you got to mainland America, they was killing black folks for trying to celebrate their spirituality.
They was killing black
and
folks
keep
for
that and
everything.
stripped all of that. So when you get to the Caribbean and you see that connection back to Africa, very strong in the people. It's very strong in the people.
All right. So, do you guys agree or disagree? Now, what I'm gonna say is just strictly my opinion, and to be honest, I believe that what I'm gonna say is my opinion that is correct based on facts, historical facts. Now, if you go all over South America, Central America, the Caribbean, you're going to find the majority of people are melanated. What is a melanin? That means you have pigment in your skin. It goes from black to brown. How do you get from black to brown? How do you even get brown? You get brown by mixing in white. If you guys ever had coffee and you get black coffee, add a little milk, which is white, you'll get brown, right? Yeah, okay, so we're all on the same page. So once you go into the Latin diaspora and you see the majority of people black and brown, 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 black and brown. I've been all over South America. I'm half Ecuadorian, all right? I've been to Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Honduras, Colombia, Brazil, in the mountains and in, the coast, in Rio. I couldn't handle the altitude. I think I got altitude sickness or whatever the case is. Been, all throughout South America in some places, not all places, but in some places, most places. All throughout the Caribbean. And everybody I saw, the majority of people up in there are black or brown. Do you have white people there? Yes, you do. And the two type of white people that are in Central, South, and the Caribbean are white people with lighter skin, right? Who have lightened up, their ancestors have lightened up their image, lightened up their ancestry. That's all it is. And you got some Europeans there who live there, Those are the two white people, I'll say the indigenous white people with the indigenous ancestry who are there, and the white people who are a European descent who are there. So those are the two white people. Let's just keep that in mind for argument's sake, right? Now, while you're over there in South Central Caribbean, the whole race topic is brought up, but it's not focused on as it is here. This is something we have to understand. America was built on racism. All right? The foundation of America is racism. Okay? It's in our Constitution. This land is made for white men and white men only. And we have to preserve the supremacy of whiteness. It's in our Constitution. If you don't believe me, look it up. But this is the backbone in this country based on racism. So that's the reason why we see most of the things in the context of race, right? More so than other countries. Does racism exist in other countries? Absolutely. But most of the people over there are not harped on that as much as they are here. That's something I have to make perfectly clear, okay? Now, the next thing I'm gonna say revolves around all Latin people outside the United States to inside the United States, okay? All Latin people. This is all Latin people, okay? And I'm gonna say why I think this first, and then I'm gonna say what I think. What I think first is the fact that America, as I established in the beginning, the foundation of America is racism, and that's something we have to, acknowledge. It's racism. They brought in rules and classifications to racism. So white people who were not white years ago became white later on. How? Because you can't really identify whiteness genetically. You could identify nationality, but you can't really identify whiteness genetically. You can't really tell who's really white and who's not. There's black people who take DNA tests who come out, 100% European. That doesn't mean that they're not black. That just means their nationality. That's all it is. That's all it is, nationality. Now, genetically, how many traces of your genetic lineage you have, that's different. That's way different. Then we could nitpick. You know what I'm saying? Then we could nitpick. Now, this is the thing. Based on America's definition of who's white and who's black, they came up with a rule called the one-drop rule. Now, what is this one-drop rule? One-drop rule is a classification of blackness. Basically what it is. Meaning, if you got 1/4 of black sub-Saharan African blood, you're considered black. So you could literally be the whitest, blue-eyed, blonde-haired person, and if they find out that one of your ancestors they trace back in the day, one of your ancestors they trace back to a sub-Saharan African, just 1/4, 1/4 is very tiny, you're considered black. Now, genetically, all right, you could, the percentage or whatever, if you even got 1/5 or 1/4 or whatever genetic, like I think was it 1.5% or something like that. There's more than 1/4. 1.5%, you're black. So that's what the classification is. That classification has not gone away. That classification, believe it or not, is still on the books now. That's a legal government classification for blackness. Again, this country was built on racism. These are the people who are telling you what they classified as who is black or not. So I'm gonna take them on their word. Okay, this is the classification for blackness. Let's go. Now, since you already know what I'm going to go from there, classification for blackness. Now, are all Latin people black? Genetically, yes. This is what I'm gonna say. Genetically, yes. And why I say yes is because the majority of Latin people who take genetic testing, they will come out. No matter how white you fucking are, you will come out at least less, maybe the majority, just less than maybe 1.5 sub-Saharan African or more. The starting basis, beginning basis is 1.5 or more. You feel what I'm saying? So, with that being said, then yes, genetically yes. And that's excluding the Europeans who still live in these countries. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, you have Europeans who live in Africa. They're considered African, but They're not black. They're European. They take a gene test, a genetic test, 100% European, 100% white, because they never mixed. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, that goes to the same thing in, you know, our country. They never mix. These people in Central, South, and Caribbean never mixed. That's it. It's over. They're not considered black. Yes, it depends on the individual. Yes, Latin people are all mixed. I understand that. Some are more mixed than others. Some of us phenotypically don't look ethnic. You're absolutely right. But one thing we have to know, and we have to make sure, that when we come here to this country, I'm not talking about people back there, they classify whatever they want to classify. They could say mestizo, that means black mixed with white. They could say all these other little classifications. Whole point is, once you're here, you have to check a box. Even if you like it or not, you have to check a box. Government form issue, you have to check a box. And this is where the confusion again lies within Latin America. Latin people in America, the confusion. Because Latin is not a race. It's not considered a race. And they did that deliberately. Because Latin is considered an ethnicity. So, you have to check off a race. And unfortunately, through years of confusion, we've been taught that all Latin people should be checking off white, no matter how dark you are. Which is not the case. There's nothing wrong about being black. So let's get away from that bullshit, okay? There's nothing wrong with being black, okay? The thing is, black has such a negative connotation that when you say Latin people are black, automatically, oh my God, we're not those black people. Nobody said that. Nobody's saying that. Black is very skewed. Black could be black African Americans, black could be Africans, black could be Latin. It's very, very skewed. It's very skewed. That doesn't mean, but the thing is, pay attention to whenever people who say, no, I'm not black, is because they already have negative connotation to black people. So, subconsciously, they're rejecting it because they're rejecting black people subconsciously. They're kind of outing themselves for being like low-key, racist. You know what I'm saying? So whenever, especially a Latin person, say, I'm not negro and all this other crazy, that's right there. That's a dog whistle right there. That, okay, you have negative connotations to black folks. So I should really watch out for you. You feel me? But this is the thing. That I do classify all Latin people as black because when I go over there, I see nothing but black and brown people. You could only get brown when you mix white into black. Let's keep it real. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm basing all of this on here. When you're here, you have to check a box. You're either white, black, Asian, or native. That's it. That's it. You have to check a box. And the thing is, phenotypically, a lot of Latin people fall under black and native. A lot of Latin people fall under that. But I'm giving you guys the legal classification of what America defines what black is. It's under the one drop rule. This is a legal classification that has not been changed. You guys disagree with it? It's fine. You guys could talk to me and we'll have a discussion. I was having a discussion with people all day this whole week. You know what I'm saying? So we can have a discussion if you disagree with me. But that's what it is. Do you guys agree with Fat Joe? Do you guys disagree with Fat Joe? You guys let me know. If you guys disagree with me, let me know as well. All right? I'm going to catch you guys later. Again, if you guys want to hit me up or follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the same name, radical_Latino_. And I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.